Good afternoon, ladies and gents, YouTubers out there. It is your boy, Tech and Gaming Review time. It's Tech and Gaming Reviews, ain't it? Well, we actually got a bit of an update to share with you guys. Some change of plans that might be happening in the upcoming months. And these include two different TVs that we're now going to get and a whole new place that we are going to be looking forward to moving. Now, if you watch some of our previous videos over the last couple months, we discussed that we was going to get two new OLED TVs and possibly get rid of like a couple of our LED TVs until just the other day we've now changed our minds and decided to just keep the LED TVs. But now that's not going to be the case. And then the same thing when it came to moving, but yet we were just going to be moving literally just right next door to us in a completely different apartment that's slightly bigger and cheaper than what we're paying right now in the current one that we're in. So all of that is now changed. So now we're actually going to get on a payment plan that we've been doing with all of our last few TVs is what I'm trying to say. Our last 5 or 6 TVs that we have done. But we're actually going to get Hisense and TCL. Because I'm going to be completely honest with you. Hisense and TCL are absolutely they're fairly good brands. And the low price points that you get with those TVs, especially if you get either the 7 series or the 8 series from both, you're getting some nice picture quality and nice, let's say picture quality from other brands that cost about double the price. For right now, you can actually get the TCL QM8 65-inch last year model, not the 2024 QM8, but the last year 2023 TCL QM8 model. You can actually get that TV right now for $900. And I'm going to tell you, that is so good. That's a TV we currently have. And I'm going to tell you, if it came to QD OLED and then the TCL QM8, I am going to tell you that the QM8 TCL is right up there with Samsung's QD OLEDs, with it being an LED TV. But it does have an advantage, and that is brightness and HDR spectacular brightness and whatnot. So, mini LED is actually not that bad when you think about it, when you even compare to OLED. We decided to change our TVs out again. We've now put up our Hisense U8H and the TCL QM8 because, honestly, I don't think we're going to have to get, an OLEDs. We're not going to be paying the $1,600-$1,700 OLEDs because of the fact that we are going to be trying to move, is what I'm trying to say, here in the next upcoming months. I don't know when. It's not going to be a night or day time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be at least at the most a few months to probably close to a year until we actually move. But we are actually going to be moving just up the road a few houses from us and hopefully getting a much more bigger place and bigger space than what we originally had at our previous place, which, as you remember watching YouTube when we talked about DK Oldies quite a lot, you seen how big that place was that we were currently in. And it wasn't super, super big, but for us, it was just big enough. So, but there isn't a place that is right up the road a few houses from us that takes our Section 8 housing HUD that you probably know about. So we're hopefully going to get back over there and, well, not back over there, but hopefully we're going to try to get the 2-bedroom over there and have a good bigger place, and hopefully we won't have to do this again. So, because this is what we are actually looking, hoping possibly forward to doing, now this is what made us change our decisions now on getting the cheaper TVs like the Hisense mini LEDs and TCL. So, with all that said, Now we're going to be looking into either getting the Hisense U8K, which we're going to either be getting this week or possibly the week after, because we're finishing. I know I mumbled there like I screwed up. That was kind of bad, but we actually are finishing up our Sony X90L right now. We actually only have like $300, close to about $286 left on paying that one off. But honestly, I'm actually really excited to get Hisense another chance and hopefully see if they have better HDR, because honestly, I am going to say that the U8H that is right behind us that's turned on our PS4 Pro, the HDR highlights just, they're good on some games, but then especially when you play on a PlayStation 5, you lose access to a feature that gets grayed out, and that's active contrast, which active contrast actually does help get the HDR to be a somewhat bit brighter, which we could do that on our Series X, One X, and PS4 Pro, but it's grayed out on our PlayStation 5 because of like some weird whatever that the PlayStation 5's HDR capabilities actually has. And honestly, when it comes to that, the TCL QM8 that we currently have right now in our gaming room, the HDR on that is absolutely insane, and it has nice pop, unlike this one. But the HDR is still good on the Hisense U8H. It's just sometimes it's just not quite as good as something like the TCL QM8, which you can play any game on any console, and you're going to get nice rich colors, brightness, really nice spectacular highlights. So when it comes to Hisense, we're either going to get the U8K or possibly the U8N, which is the one that Hisense just released. And I gotta say, the U8N seems pretty darn good. Like, oh my gosh. Like, the contrast on the U8N on the 65-inch size and the local dimming on it, it's insane for an LED TV. Like, honestly, almost 300,000 to 1 is how good that the contrast is on the U8N Hisense. And if you get the 65-inch, you get 1,600 local dimming zones. That, my fellas, is huge. That's a huge upgrade. Like, the more dimming zones that you get, whether it be on a 55 or a 65-inch size, but we'll mention the 55-inch of that model in just a second. But when you get local dimming zones, that amount, you definitely are getting close to OLED. And with contrast being 300,000 to 1 almost, like it's like around 282,000 something to 1. That's insane. I'm very excited to even see what this TV gets, and we might actually get that one even over the U8K, even though the U8K has also really good contrast. It's just not quite as high. But that's what the Hisense U8N actually has. It's around 300,000 to 1 in the contrast ratio, 1,600 local dimming zones for just the 65-inch size. So honestly, Hisense and TCL is another thing I'm also going to talk about. Like, they absolutely just have incredible specs, especially for the price points that you're paying. Like, you can't beat them. Now, gaming is also good on both. So, like, if you don't want an OLED, and because of how high price points are, and you still want a TV that's going to have punchy colors, punchy brightness, and great gaming performance, Hisense and TCL's got you covered. Now, they might have just a couple milliseconds of higher input latency on gaming rather than an LG and a Samsung OLED, but it's honestly not going to be that much of a difference. Like, you're literally going to feel exactly the same, like 1 to 2, 3 milliseconds of higher input latency from something like an OLED. Like, it's going to feel exactly the same and really responsive. The only way you're going to have to tell a difference from input latency is if it's like 20 or 30 milliseconds higher than another TV. Then you'll actually feel somewhat of a little difference. But a couple milliseconds is not going to be really that much at all. Like, it's honestly still pretty darn good. I mean, like, for 15 milliseconds at 60 hertz on all resolutions and 6 to 7.5 milliseconds at 120, that's insanely still good. Especially when you think about the 120 hertz from the OLEDs that are around 5 milliseconds. Like, yeah, that's still insanely fast. So, even then, you ain't going to have no problems gaming on those TVs with a couple milliseconds higher. It's literally going to be nothing at all. It's going to be just like you're playing on an OLED. So, honestly, this is now what our plan is. So, like I mentioned, the whole moving part that we're trying to move to in the future to hopefully get back to a 2-bedroom size that's literally just down the road a couple houses from us. It's not going to be an overnight type of deal, so we're still going to be here for quite a little while, but we also got to save money, so this is what made us now have to choose of getting cheaper mini LED TVs from Hisense TCL, so that way we can at least give you guys a couple more reviews on some TVs. Now, the U8K or the U8N, we're not quite sure yet, but the same thing goes with TCL as well, with either the 24 QM8 or the QM7, which is basically practically the same as the current QM8 that we have from 2023. So, when it comes to the QM7 and the QM8 of 2024, we don't know which ones of those two that we're going to get. And then right now, between the Hisense U8K and the U8N, those are two we're also debating on. But our gut is telling us to go for the U8N because honestly, it's with its higher contrast ratio and more local dimming zones and better brightness, something tells us we won't regret that at all. So, we now have some new updated changes that we wanted to share with you guys today. So instead of getting 2 new OLEDs and getting rid of our LED TVs, we're just going to get a Hisense and another TCL mini LED television, and we're going to try to save some money while getting some cheaper but still nice quality TVs, while at the same time saving money to hopefully move in a 2-bedroom place right down the road from us, and hopefully we can do that in the next upcoming months and such. So that's just what I wanted to share with you guys. I just wanted to share the news with you that now these are big changes that will be happening with us in the upcoming months, hopefully to a year or so. But that's going to pretty much wrap it up for tech and gaming reviews. So let us know if you're somebody that loves Hisense and TCL's mini LED TVs, and which model do you got, and how do you like that TV, or which model you have, and how's your gaming experience, and just let us know in the comment section down below. But that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video today. So, tech and gaming reviews, rate, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you in the next one. Peace!